bookworms, I'm Hannah, and this is a feature video to tell you about a little special something that I got in the mail. Earlier this month, I posted a January and February book haul video where I mentioned 3 books that came from a special place. I said I would do a video later in the month telling you where the books came from and sharing my thoughts on the books once I finish reading them, and this is that video, a feature on Quarterlyco's literary box. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm not being sponsored to make this video. I'm not here to tell you to buy this, and I'm not here to tell you not to buy it. I'm just here to tell you about it, and you can decide for yourself if it's something you're interested in or if it's something that would make a nice gift for someone special in your life. In the interest of transparency, I want to tell you that I was approached by a representative of Quarterlyco and offered a free literary box. All they asked of me in exchange was that I write a review of each book and mention Quarterlyco in my review, which I did. But I'd never heard of the service before and I thought it was cool, so I decided to do a video about it. I've got some quick details to go over and 3 books to share with you, so let's get started. Quarterlyco offers a subscription-based service that delivers a box to your doorstep once every quarter. At the time of the making of this video, Quarterlyco offers a literary box, a young adult literary box, also a culinary box, a biohack box for physical trainers, and a maker's box for fans of DIY projects. But we're not talking about those today, we're just talking about the literary boxes. The book boxes include a feature novel as well as 2 additional featured books selected by the author of the featured novel. Also included is a letter written by the author of the featured novel explaining why he or she selected the additional 2 books. A few bookish goodies are included as well. My literary box came with a bag of Jane Eyre Currant and Spice black tea from First Edition Tea Co. Also a sticker and a coffee mug. And my mug has the featured author's favorite quote from her book on it, and it just so happens that I marked this quote while I was reading the book because I thought the phrasing was delicious. It reads, "All good secrets have a taste before you tell them." I'll give you one guess about whether or not I like the color. And let's not forget about the box, which has myriad uses beyond transporting books, such as this. What makes the literary box special are the handwritten notes included in the feature book. These notes are written by the author, photocopied onto sticky notes, and then placed throughout the book. These notes bring an intimate feel to the reading experience, and they give readers unique insights about the books that only the author would know. Let's get the business of price out of the way so we can talk about the books. The literary box costs $49 per box, which breaks down to just under $17 per month. The young adult literary box costs the same. The other boxes that Quarterlyco offers cost a bit more, and I'm just going to link to their website below, so if you're interested, you can check it out. Now, let's talk about the books. I'm going over all 3 books I received in order from least to top favorite, beginning with Sula by Toni Morrison, which unfolds in a small neighborhood in Medallion, Ohio that's known as The Bottom, where Black residents form a tight-knit community. The Bottom is home to Nell Wright and Sula Peace, 2 girls whose friendship is solidified by the burden of a horrendous secret. Once grown, they remain guardians of that secret, but an act of betrayal threatens to terminate their friendship forever. This book is packed with opulent language, and I often marked passages I found beautiful while reading it. Though it presents itself as a story of the friendship between 2 girls, Nell and Sula don't make an appearance until roughly 50 pages into the book. A significant portion of the book's opening chapters are dedicated to exploring the other characters who live in the Bottom and giving a family history that later accounts for the type of drastically different women Nell and Sula each grow up to be. One of the women is content with the status quo, while the other chooses a more anarchistic life path, which makes this book a study of an outlaw woman disrupting the harmony of a unified neighborhood and tragically injuring a lifelong friendship. This is the first Toni Morrison book that I've ever read, and while I rank it at the bottom of the bunch, I now want to read more of her books. Next up is We Should All Be Feminist by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, which is an essay adapted from a TEDx talk that Adichie gave in 2013. It tackles the issue of feminism in the 21st century by taking a look at how the word feminist has developed a negative stigma. This book rallies readers to envision a more equal world in the future and encourages readers to make that future world a reality by raising our boys and girls differently. By that, the author means that girls should not be raised to focus so much on seeing each other as competition for the attention of men, and that boys should not be raised under such stifling standards of masculinity. Touching on sexual politics, the disparate priorities in how we raise our boys and girls, and interwoven with personal stories, this little book packs a big message. Finally, we have The Mothers by Britt Bennett. Before I tell you about it, I have to say, this book enchanted me. This was an I don't want to put this book down read for me that I ultimately wound up giving a 5-star review. It follows a girl named Nadia Turner who must deal with unimaginable grief as a teenager. One of her vices for processing her grief is a dalliance with the pastor's son, Luke Shepard, the byproduct of which forces her to make a difficult decision. She keeps her decision to herself, even withholding it from her best friend, Aubrey Evans. Nadia thinks her secret will remain in her past, but it follows her into adulthood and ensnares her, Aubrey, and Luke in a painful game of asking, what if? In many ways, this book mirrors Sula by Toni Morrison. In fact, it reads like a modern-day rewrite of Sula. But the characters in this book really resonated with me in ways that the characters in Sula did not. The story is relayed by the Mothers, a group of elderly women who run the prayer circle at the Upper Room Church. The Mothers are like divine sages, hovering over the story and passing judgment down on the characters and imparting wisdom to the readers. Not only is wisdom abundant in this book, it's delivered with delicate yet powerful phrasing. I typically include spoiler-free passages from books in my written review, so I'll link to those down below if you want to read some quotes from this book. I've also mentioned in videos past that, while reading, I tend to mark passages that I find moving or lyrical. By the time I finished reading this book, it was so full of rainbow stickies, it looked like a float ready for a gay pride parade. I've since removed the stickies and transferred my favorite quotes to my written review and my journal, but the point is, this book is packed with luscious and poignant quotes. The Mothers is Brit Bennett's debut novel, and I will definitely be reading whatever novel she publishes next. That's all the books I have for you today. If you've read any of these books, I want to know what you thought of them in the comments below. Also, if you have a favorite Toni Morrison or Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie book, tell me about it in the comments. I foresee myself reading more books by those authors, and I'm open to recommendations. Keep your eyes peeled for my next video, which will be a March wrap-up. I have been reading an assorted mix of books this month, and I have some that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. Thanks, everybody!